Hey, it's Soleil, and this is episode 77 of the Orange Pill Investor, and finally up like what 10% would be at 5,500, so whatever that is, 5%, 6%. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yes, yes. Anyway, nice to be positive. So for the week, up like 18%. You can't get too excited about being up, just like I was, I was not too depressed about being down. This all smooths out over time. It's the same principle for the buy and hold folks, except they're passive and weak, and and option sellers are active and strong. To me, it just fits into the orange pill philosophy. I call this the orange pill investor, but it seems like all I do is talk about selling stock options. But of course, all I do is sell mining companies, and then I store my value in MicroStrategy. So, and actually, if MicroStrategy didn't exist, I would probably be smart to store any cash premium immediately in Bitcoin, and then once there was enough shares for 100 shares of something like a hut, then sell the Bitcoin and then buy the 100 shares in one spot. Whereas what I normally do is I just buy one share of the cheapest, whenever I sell premium, I buy as many shares of the cheapest stock that I can and try to get it to 100 shares as quickly as possible so that I can sell another covered call. That way, it's instead of it being earning like 1% a week and getting 52% for the year, it's compounded and you're getting 1% on top of 1%, which is 1.01 raised to the 52nd power if you do it once a week for 52 weeks. So in a year, instead of just getting 52% for the year, I call it reaching critical mass, and you basically get compound interest and you'll get 67% returns for the year. And that's even if the stock trades sideways. So you can earn 52 to 67% just in premium without the stock going up in value at all. So that's another advantage over the buy and hold folks is they just have to sit there and take it no matter what the market does to them. They're just like a raft floating around in the ocean. And if it's a nice breezy sunny day, maybe everything's nice and you can catch fish. But if it's a frickin' hurricane, then you're just getting tossed around. Whereas selling covered calls smooths out the edges, I think. It's going to take the bottoms off of your lows, and the bad part though is when it clips your wings and it takes the tops off the highs. And that's why a lot of people don't do it, because they're like, oh, I want unlimited upside, even though none of these people have ever experienced unlimited upside in their entire careers. Like they saw it happen to, Tesla one time or something, and maybe they had a few shares of Tesla, but they were probably diversified into 24 other things that held down their account value. So I'm not impressed. Not impressed with the buy and hold people, the dividends people, even the real estate people. It's all kind of boring as far as I can tell. I'm not sure why they're so excited about 7% annual returns from the S&P or 7% appreciation on their home when they got to deal with renters calls in the middle of the night and not paying their bills, and squatters. That's the big thing nowadays. You freaking go a month between rentals when you're trying to show the property, and then you show up and there's a squatter in your house. Oh, I can't even imagine. That's a disgusting violation. Only physical assault to me is a worse violation of another person than literally just stealing their house. That's really gross. But anyway, Loving being positive. It feels good. All right. So I'm gonna do a little switcheroo. I'm gonna kind of do like some fake diversification because I mean everything that I'm invested in here is all related to Bitcoin. So talking about diversification is kind of just like really you're diversified in one sector, but you're going to diversify the stock names themselves. I mean, technically it qualifies as some type of diversification, but it's not truly diversified. So I still have conviction in Bitcoin. However, I'm going to go ahead and close this contract. Mara had a little bit of a resurgence, so this is going to be a perfect time, I think, to go ahead and dump 100 shares of this and get some CLSK. I want to, technically I took, what am I taking, like a 90-cent loss on this or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I've collected that much premium anyway. I just have to remember to put this in the spreadsheet. This will change my cost basis. So probably broke even on Mara. Ooh, I'm not buying it, I'm selling it. That was going to be annoying. And I just sold this at the market. For the interest of this video and time, I just want to get this over with. I would normally set a limit order to make sure I don't get screwed on the price, but Mara's fairly liquid. This is not going to be a problem. All right, so let's do CLSK. And let's buy 100 shares. And again, I'm buying highs here. This is not necessarily all-time. Is it an all-time high? Oh, wow. This is a 52-week high. Not like that. Okay, so it's not a 5-year high. So it's not an all-time high. But it definitely is a 52-week high. And this scares some people. You know, I mean, it does make sense, buy low, sell high. So why would you buy here? Well, there's a momentum thing that can happen sometimes when things are setting 52-week highs. And so we had a double top here. So then it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't do technical analysis, but I'm sure somebody was predicting, like right here, somebody was probably predicting head and shoulders. And they're like, oh, yeah, head and shoulders, it's going to go down. And then, boop, the market does not give a shit about your financial astrology. So you can draw all the lines you want, and you can check the fundamentals and the blah, 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 but it still comes down to whether people want to buy the stock or not. You know, you can go to the voodoo priestess and have her read your chicken bones or whatever the hell it is, but the market gonna do what the market gonna do. And as far as I'm concerned, my base assumption is that Bitcoin goes up forever, and specifically this bull run is probably, I'm guessing, to end of 2025. So that's why I'm all in on Bitcoin right now. I'm a Bitcoiner anyway, so I just believe it's going up forever and it's going to transform the world. But as a trader, I'm definitely bullish for the near and long-term future. So now I can't remember, did I actually buy the shares? No, I didn't actually click buy. Boom. All right. So now we got 100 shares. Let's go ahead and reduce that cost basis, baby. And now, you know what? Now I'm going to have another tab in the spreadsheet. Maybe that's why I only stuck to a couple of assets, because now this is going to be more record keeping. But I usually try to be a little greedier with, let's see how much CLSK up lately. Okay, nice little pump here. So I usually try to be very greedy with premium as soon as I buy it, because I really want to knock that cost basis down. But Bitcoin can just jump at any time, which means that the mining stocks can also jump with it. And let's see, if I tried to allow for 10% call away value, that would be $2.50 up to like 26.50. So that would only give me 15. Oh, that's for tomorrow. I usually do 1 week calls, but I'm going to go ahead and go all the way out to next week, because Wait, what the hell? I can get how much for tomorrow? At the money, I can get 70 cents. So if this is a, oh, this is only, oh, the light just flickered. I wonder if I'm going to lose power. Might not be able to finish this trade. All right. This is 1 day to expiration because of the short week. But if this was a 5-day, that would be $3.50 for the week. That's kind of wild. What's Bitcoin right now? 69. All right, so it pumped back up to 70. That's kind of trailing. All right. Maybe I will just sell a quick. Man, I can knock my cost basis down 50 cents in 1 day. Whatever. Let's see what happens. Okay, I was gonna go up to next week, but this way I can just roll them all tomorrow anyway. Let's see if I get filled at the mark price, or if they're gonna make me come down a little bit. I don't know if this sells in increments of a nickel or not. So let's just knock it down. I'm gonna try to put in 53 and see if it takes it. Update to 55, you bastards. So here's what, this is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna update it to 50. And then I'm gonna, every once in a while, Robinhood will give you a little bit of a better price. Let's see if I get like 53. Estimated credit. Nope. Let's refresh this bad boy. Yeah, so they gave me an extra penny. I got paid 51 cents. So I've never understood why it does that. It only lets you do increments of a nickel, so I had to go down to 50. That's a big bid ask spread, 10 cents on a $24 stock. That's kind of annoying. But the other big deal is that HUT earnings is before the open tomorrow, and I try not to ever carry covered calls over earnings in case it gaps up. Now, of course, it could gap down, and then I'm losing some premium. And holy crap, I'm actually going to have to lose a little bit to close these. So let's do it anyway. It's just 1 day, so I'll be able to put these covered calls back on tomorrow. Now, the bad part about earnings is you get the most premium that you're going to get approaching earnings, because earnings calls are binary events, and there's anticipation, there's anxiety, there's a lot of options activity. A lot of options activity drives up the prices of the options, which is reflected in the implied volatility. So if you go to Market Chameleon and you go to any stock ticker, you'll see, and maybe I'll do it, you'll see, let me just close this while I'm yapping, that implied volatility is a mean reverting stat, so it'll go up towards earnings and then it'll come down after earnings. It'll go up towards earnings and come down after earnings. And then if there's some big news and the price goes way up or way down, then implied volatility will spike at that time, and then it will revert back down to the mean, like whatever the normal implied volatility for that stock is. And they don't want to close my position. All right, I'm going to have to pay another. I'm going to have to pay another penny or two or whatever. Gimme, 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 gimme. All right, let's do 68. I'm kind of just walking this up. This says high fill likelihood. So let's see if, yep, they're telling the truth. All right, so I'm going to leave HUT alone with no so much, I'm drawing a blank, with no covered calls over it, because just in case Hut has really good earnings and this gap's up to 12 or something ridiculous, I want to gain all of that. And that little bit of premium that I would be able to get just from one day, you know, missing out on that is no big deal to me. But I don't want to use up too much more of my buying power, but I do want to get into Riot as well. I'm just gonna get into all of these and just diversify my mining positions here. Bottom, trade right options. Let's sell the covered call for, I'm going to do tomorrow again. No, see, there's not a lot of premium to be had here. I could do, well, see, the other thing, CLSK was right on at the money, but this is, there's a 30 cents call away value here. So the fact that this is only 1% for one day isn't that bad. Sometimes I shoot for 1% for the whole week. So 1% for one day, and there's 30 cents call away value. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to sell this covered call for tomorrow for the hell of it. Reduce my cost basis to whatever, $12.10. Medium fill likelihood. And see, this one is even cheaper, and it lets you go into the pennies. So I didn't have to. That's a downside for CLSK. You can really get screwed over on that bid-ask spread, because it was, the ask was like the bid-ask spread was between 50 and 60. It didn't fill at 55, so I had to go all the way down to 50. So got kind of screwed on that one. So let me just put this down to 1.3. This should fill immediately. And let's. I'm chasing the bid-ask spread now, because now it's 12 to 13, whereas it was. All right, we're gonna drop it to 12. I don't want this video taking 17 years just to get a $12 fill on friggin' Riot. Done. All right, so I'm not going to waste y'all's time me getting this into the spreadsheet. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, just so that people can see how it works. So let's see, I have 2,200 buying power. I'm going to go ahead, I spent 1,200, so I'm going to sell 100 shares of Hut. Because I don't want to be using this much margin. I want to show people how to grow their account. I don't really want to show them how to blow up their accounts. So let's just see what, this is going to say low risk. Yeah. So my margin that they're saying that they will give me is $7,000, and I'm actually using almost half of it. I don't like that. Let's sell another 100 shares of Hut. All right. Now let's see what my buying power looks like. Okay, so that's kind of back to where it was. You know what I didn't look at? Damn it. I forgot to look. Like, let's say if I want to buy 100 shares of Riot, I want to see if I'm even getting margin. I forgot to look and see. So the margin requirement, okay. Margin requirement for Riot is 60/50. Okay, so that's actually not bad. Sometimes you don't get, you kind of get screwed using margin. You don't get as good a deal on some stocks as others. So I should have checked the margin requirement before I bought Riot. I wonder if it was CLSK. Let's see what their, oh, it's not bad, 56.45, okay. So I think I'm right back to my available buying power where I was at before. I'm only using $2,000 of buying power of margin, but let's use that as an excuse to pick up another little fraction. 0.05. $95. 95 bucks. Let's do, yeah, let's do that. MicroStrategy is at a high right now, so let's not get too crazy. Let's not get too wild. And then we'll buy a little bit more tomorrow when we collect some premium. So we'll be selling, what the hell is my Riot? Did I not buy the Riot shares? Okay, there we go. It refreshed. All right, got 100 shares of Mara, 100 shares of CLSK, 100 shares of Riot, 100 shares of Hut. What was that other one somebody was posting? TerraWolf and BitF. So, you know, this, I mean, if you're super broke, I would just save my money until I had a couple of grand. But, I mean, next week you can get 4% at the money, 30 cents call-away value. I mean, this isn't terrible. The bid-ask spread, yeah, 10 to 15. Probably not worth my time. One of the guys that I follow, he trades Bit Farms. So let's see what we can get on Bit Farms for next week. Sometimes with these, you have to go out 45 days as well. So Bit Farms is a little cheaper. You can get, yeah, this is bid-ask is 5 to 10. So yeah, I'm staying clear of this. Anything under $10 a share is kind of risky. It's hard to squeeze premium out of it. It's hard to deal with the bid-ask spread based on how much little premium you're squeezing out of it to begin with. So Hut's not bad. Hut gives you that near $10 price, and you can get legit premium on this. Oh yeah, 8% at the money, 6.5% with 70 cents call away, 5% with $1, a little over $1 call away. Yeah, that's pretty legit. Now these premiums could crash tomorrow, and this is why excuse me, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but this is why I never buy long options before earnings, right? So if you're in here and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy an $11 call for tomorrow, and Hut's going to have earnings, and this might shoot up. This might shoot up to $15, and man, I'll just make a bunch of money, right? So the problem with that is the implied volatility collapses. That's why I was discussing what I was discussing with Market Chameleon and the mean reverting, and implied volatility collapses. So the prices of these options are going to collapse as well. So like tomorrow, even if Hut is still at 982, let's say the price doesn't change one single bit, this call could drop from 15 to 7 or less because earnings is out, nobody gave a damn, you know. So the only way that you can win on this trade is to bet correct that it's going up, and it has to go up so much that it overcomes implied volatility collapse. So if you're thinking, see the delta, every time Hut goes up $1, like let's say it went up from 10 to 15, so $5 times 0.2 is going to be about $1. So you're like, oh, if this goes up to 15, I only paid $15, and I'm going to make, you know, if this goes up to $1, you're going to make $100. So spend 15, make 100, or make 85 really, because you paid 15. But if this delta collapses to 0.1, now that $5 move is only worth 50 cents. So you're only going to make 35 bucks because you're going to make 50, but you paid 15. Or worst case scenario is this collapses to 0.1 and the price only goes up to 12. And so now it went up $1. $1 times 0.1 is 0.1. And so you're like, oh, I got it correct. How much money did I make? And then you come over here and you're like, wait a minute, I bought it for 15. It went up $1. It was supposed to be at least 20 cents and double my money, but yet you're taking a nickel loss. So I don't buy calls. I mean, selling calls and selling puts is my strategy to begin with, but buying calls ahead of earnings is suicide. Same thing for puts, really. You have to get right on the direction and hope you're so right that it overcomes implied volatility collapse. All right, I said I was going to check. Let's do, I don't even remember my frickin' login. Huh, what if I can just sign in with Google? Let's try that. No, I don't want to do that. That's my bad. All right, so if we go, I haven't used this in so long. This is hilarious. All right, so I'm going to filter by IV30. This is all the high implied volatility stocks. Well, I'm just going to click one. And then once I get here, I'll put in what I want, and what I want is HUT. And let's look at volatility, implied volatility. Here we go. Here's the chart. This is the implied volatility chart for HUT, and you can see E's are marked with earnings. So this is actually a terrible example. I mean, you can kind of see here, this is, when I see this as mean reverting, like this is kind of what HUT does. It's between implied volatility of 100 and 125. But I mean, this was a decent example, this most recent one, because implied volatility went up right before earnings, and then shortly thereafter kind of went down. And then this must be when Bitcoin was pumping or something, end of December. I don't know. But usually it's a little bit more obvious. So anytime you want to check where a stock's implied volatility is relative to its history, you can check here, and it's mean reverting. So you got this big spike here. This is when options premium was very expensive, and then it started just reverting back to what HUT is normally. And maybe now that Bitcoin is pumping for the next year or so, maybe this will continue to stay pumped, and our premiums will be nice and juicy for the next year and a half. So that would be nice, fingers crossed. All right, that's everything that I wanted to cover today. I normally don't do something of this substantive on a Wednesday, but HUT had earnings, and it's a short week, so there wasn't really a lot of premium left. Let me filter this by current price. So actually there's decent premium. Oh, I just set this one, so of course there's going to be some premium here. But Mara, I don't think Mara had a lot of premium left anyway. I think I sold these for like 40 or 50. Still a decent amount. All right, so made some moves. I'll get these into the spreadsheet. 6% up from inception, and up like 18%. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Up 11% for the week. So loving it. All right, be good, y'all.